right, Coach Guerrero, tell us about today's performances.
Well, it was a great day for the Lions. Women were 4th overall. The men were 6th. You know, we came out here racing 2B teams. We were resting our folks from last weekend. But really excited about the fact that we had kind of a good mix of old and new. You know, on the women's side, we were led by a freshman today, Melanie Yeager. You know, just had a great race, only the 2nd college race of her career. And then right behind her, you know, Sarah Vitug, who is not a freshman, but is a first year because she's a grad student with us. On the men's side, you know, Danny Gibson, again, a transfer, first year for us. Montana, probably had one of the best races of his career, and then, you know, right behind them, 2 more freshmen, you know, coming in. So it was really a good race for us, I think. You know, I think we'd like to be a little bit higher up in the standings, but we also know that literally there's nationally ranked teams ahead of us that you know, that beat us, and so you know, to come out here with what we had and run as well as we did, I'm very happy. All right, so we're here, Sarah Vitug and Melanie Yeager, right, who were 1 and 2 for us today at the Irvine Invite. How'd you guys feel about the race today?
I tried to stay really relaxed. I wanted to try to work into the race and just feel as good as I could through the first mile, and I think it worked out. I decided to wear my watch, and I was feeling really comfortable through the first mile, even though it was on grass, and I just worked into it. I knew my competition was out there, and I wanted to feel my teammates around me, and I knew Melanie was there, Evelyn was there, and it helped me through.
And Melanie, so you're a freshman. You're only really in your second collegiate race ever, correct? And so here you lead the team today. How'd you feel about that?
I just tried to stay with one teammate and then try and make it to the next teammate, and I just used them as benchmarks, and then once I got to Sarah, I just kind of tried to stay with her, and then...
And so how do you guys feel, so you just raced last weekend at Fullerton where you guys won the team championship, right, the defending champions in fact, and so now here you are a week later. Was this race different? Did you feel like you learned anything? You know, how did this compare maybe?
I felt like this was definitely a confidence booster. I knew last week was a tough course, and I felt like going to this race, I knew I was going to be way more relaxed, which I was, and so it was a fun course just to, you know, get out there and have a road race type, and it was fun to just feel faster.
How about you?
It was a much faster course, so it felt a lot better, and
it's always fun to run fast.
Yeah.
Okay, and so last question. So you guys are kind of at 2 different ends of the spectrum. You're both first years, but Sarah, you're a 5th year, you're a grad student. You know, Melanie, you're a freshman. Any thoughts on that? Just both being first years, but you know, Melanie running with Sarah, Sarah running with Melanie, how that feels?
I know it's hard not to think about how old I am, but you know, being around a lot of freshmen makes me feel like I'm still in it. I'm still young and fresh and spunky, and so it makes me feel like I can mix it up even with the younger girls, and it makes it a lot more fun because, you know, like I don't always have to lead, you know, and so it's cool, and I really am enjoying it, even being around freshmen, and it's fun.
So how does it feel to have so many old folks around like Sarah and Melanie?
It's nice to know that they know what they're doing and that they've been through this, and
so experience.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, great race today, great run. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
We're here with Mike Montana Evans, Danny Gibson, LMU cross country out at the UC Irvine Invite. How was the race today, guys?
It's a pretty good race. Pretty hot out, so that kind of had an impact on it, but pretty steep hills on the course made it a little more tough, but overall I felt pretty good through it and was able to get a good finish.
Great.
Yeah, there was a little bit of everything. Like on this course we had a grass path, and then we had a big hill, uphill and downhill, and even a little bit of road race, a fair amount of road racing, about a mile or 2. So it was a deceptive and tricky course, I thought, but it was a good race today.
And so this is second week of the season, right? Both of you guys raced last weekend at the Fullerton race, where the men actually came away with the victory. That was an 8K. This is another 8K back to back. I mean, how do those compare? How do you feel like they compared, Mike?
Getting a couple more workouts under our belt definitely, I feel like, made an impact. But overall, I tend to do well on hills, and the last course was a little more flat than this one. So having that chance to kind of power up the hills, I think, really worked to my benefit.
I mean, my attitude has always been that you can't be afraid of racing, and that every single race is an experience and something you can learn from. So I was just happy, even though it was a windfall from not being one of the top spots on the last race. I was happy just getting a shot to come out here and having a go at it.
Okay, and so speaking of that not being one of the top spots, there actually is something on the line, right? Because everybody's racing here for a spot to Portland to the preview meet next weekend, right? So did you feel like, because Montana, you had a really great race, do you feel like that provided a little extra incentive for you today?
Yeah, especially towards the end of the race with the thought that there could be a teammate passing me at the end and take away that spot from me. It was definitely motivation through a later couple miles, but the entire time trying to work together as a team, but having that on the line definitely served as some extra motivation.
And Danny, maybe talk a little bit about the depth of the team, and is that, how does that work to sort of the advantage of the team doing better, pushing each other, et cetera?
Yeah, I'm new coming in, but I mean everybody I asked, and I think everybody recognizes this might be the deepest year of LMU cross country ever. And so like in this meet, it's just about getting back and wanting to have a spot and running with the top guys in the squad, because I think it's also in the top deepest years in the conference ever too. So I think it's going to be it's going to be a full season experience, working together and seeing who can hang and who can stay healthy, and how we're going to work together as a unit for like 2 months here.
Fantastic. Well, you guys are off to a great start. Mike Evans, Danny Gibson, running 1-2 for us today for the Lions. Great job.
Great.
So now that the teams are set for next weekend, the WCC preview meet, how do you feel about those teams?
Yeah, well, our season, we had a little bit different approach to it this year because of the fact that we are going up to Portland for the conference meet, and so next weekend we're actually going up to a West Coast Conference preview meet on the eventual conference course. So we just said everybody's got a race for their spot. So there were some tickets on the line today for that race next weekend, and so I think that provided a little bit of extra incentive, a little bit of extra motivation for that. But one thing that I think we saw today is that we have a really deep team, which is really nice. It's potentially the deepest team we've ever had. And granted, I know it's early, it's still September, anything can happen, but the fact of the matter is, we really could end up with the best team that we've ever had in LMU history, and that would certainly